I'm gonna do something new, guys. It's called a dry pour for concrete. So I'm not gonna be pre-mixing the concrete with water beforehand. It's something new. I've done it for posts, so I think it's totally doable and that it can work. So I have only this much. I have this much, which is a little bit of quickcrete concrete. So we went to the Home Depot with my mom and bought a couple more bags. I'm gonna do about 1.5 inch height for this area over here, and we're gonna do the area until where the fence ends right here. So I'm gonna do my form, make it all nice. We got some wood from the Home Depot. That's a tip for you guys. There's like scrap material, things like this. Sometimes it's good wood, but it's just broken, things like that. So I found some really good wood here that is gonna be good for making that form, that mold for my concrete over here. So I'm just gonna do it from here to here. I'm not gonna do it where it meets this pavement over here because it's gonna be completely close by. And then from there, just gonna pour the cement there and then start doing the dry pour mix. I am gonna be using this kind of trowel to do in between the concrete pavement over here and the other side as well. And so just to give it like a nice form, and that should be it. And then we're gonna sit our shed over here, move everything this way. Let's prepare the area. Let's go. We had already cleared a lot of this area, and if you want to watch a little bit more, there's a video on how we moved a complete tool shed from one part of the house to this part over here. So if you want to watch that, you can go to the link up on top over here. The main thing that you have to do when you're going to pour a concrete slab, doesn't matter if it's regular pre-mixing or if you're gonna do a dry pour, is that you have to make space in the ground of the height and width that you want it to be, and digging is one of the things that you need to do, inevitably. Also, unless you're planning of using the dirt that you're digging out for something else, what we like to do is put that dirt in bags and then we can just haul it to the trash. I have like 4 or 5 measuring tapes, and this is what I find out of everything. The cheapest, but at least you have something. So always have extra of your tools because you never know when you're gonna lose them. They just find little feet and go wherever they want. So keep extras. Once we had dug a little bit of the hole, we started taking out the slats that were there from the fence. We're gonna remove that fence completely because the shed is gonna be there instead. I also needed to uninstall a couple of posts that were there and the lights that were hanging from them. After I finally cleared the area from the fence, then I started just finessing and making the area more compacted and also digging a little bit more so that everything was going to be level from the concrete that was already there to the new one. I'm using that piece of scrap wood to level out the existing concrete and the top of that wood mold that I'm making. Because my soil here is super puffy and loose, as you can tell here, if I do this, it is so soft because I moved it. So what I'm going to do right now, I already did the form, as you can tell. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some water. It's my old trick, compacting. So I'm watering everything, soaking the soil, and then what this will do is that it'll get a little bit more consistent, and I'll be able to compact it. And as you can tell, my bubble is slightly towards going outwards, so it's going down. So if there's any water, it's gonna go out into the soil. And there's a groundhog around here. It's opening holes everywhere. So anyways, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit and then compact it. Just probably just step on it because my tamper is too wide. I should have made it maybe the tamper's width, but I didn't. So we're gonna step on this and make it nice and solid, and once that's done, I can go ahead and do the dry pour. I compacted a bunch of soil that I had taken out by just stepping on this, and you can tell that it's really soft, and I'm just going in so that when I do my pour afterwards, it doesn't collapse on top of the groundhog, which I'm gonna get rid of. I already ordered the repel all. Everybody's raving about it, so I'm hoping that that works. And then after this, I'm going to do some all-purpose gravel and also stand on it, compact it, and then I can do my pour. We had a big debate with my mom regarding this area over here. She wants it to be more shallow in the depth of the concrete. I want it to be a little bit thicker just because I want it to be able to, we're gonna put the shed on it. I know the whole weight is not gonna be on it, but I think it's better. And the bag of concrete is only like $3.67, so it's something that's not gonna be too costly, and I think if we have a little bit more, it's gonna be better. So let me show you the area. This is the area. This is about 1.5 inches, almost 2, I think. And we're preparing there, so I had put it up to here, but we're gonna leave it up to where the rest of that post is, right there. So I'm gonna begin to put in the dry cement. Then since we are doing that, I think I might have to take out this area too and just leave it up to where the post is, and that way it'll be all the way to where this ends. Okay, we had compacted the area, put the gravel, then we extended our area of pouring the cement, and it was time to start pouring the dry cement. This was kind of easy because you just had to pour the cement there, and my mom was super helpful going behind me with the broom, just putting all of that dust, basically cement dust, into the mold that we had prepared. And again, we just kept leveling the area and cleaning everything so that we could get it ready for the water. I also tapped it with the mallet along the mold so that it could be compacted, and then I just kept adding the cement until it got to the level that it needed to be. So this is how it looks when you have poured all your cement. Everything was level here, and this is the point, guys, where it's really exciting and you're like midway, but it looks so good already. I was nervous though because I was about to pour the water and I didn't know how it was all gonna go down. But before pouring the water, I needed to finish the sides like I was telling you with that round trowel. And I also had to put some citronella because the mosquitoes were everywhere trying to attack us. This part where I did the troweling and the finishing part right here that you see, this was the hardest to get the hang of. It did take me about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to get the hang of it. I finally did because all the cement was coming out from here, so I just had to like pack it in, and then once I had that there, I was able to go along. So right now we're gonna do the misting. First 2 steps is to mist, and then we can go ahead and do the shower mode on the water, and we can also even out the whole surface. So wish us luck. My mom's finishing something there. There's so many mosquitoes. So we finally started pouring the water, but I used the misting setting because that's what they recommended. And here's the thing, guys. Every video that I saw, nobody would say how much to pour the water for. So I just kind of went with my gut instinct, and here's what I have for you guys. Let's just remember that I am not a contractor or not a super expert or anything like this. So if you want to use my recommendations, you're welcome. I'm just gonna give you what my experience is. For the first watering, I went about 4 to 5 minutes just to soak in everything. They do say that you don't have to water so much because then the concrete will run off. But I felt like that was a good time so that all the water would soak in the beginning. And you leave that for 1 hour and you come back and do another mist. On that initial mist, when everything was still really wet, I work out the sides with the round finishing trowel, and then I also tried smoothing out the top. We're gonna do the second misting right now, and I should have probably started earlier today, but this is almost 8 o'clock. Well, actually it's 8 o'clock. So we're gonna do misting, and here you go. Let's start right now. Alright guys, so I did 2 mists right now, previous hours before, and now we're gonna be doing the shower setting. So it's 9 o'clock. Now everything is supposed to be hardened, and the shower setting is not gonna be something that's gonna create holes or anything on the surface. I'm trying to put also water outside so that it can be absorbed from underneath, and then I'll come back in another hour if I'm still awake and then do another watering. I really never found how much time you need to water, but I'm just trying to soak it so that it absorbs as much water as possible and that it can then absorb as much water as possible. I did a total of 4 waterings with a shower setting, 90 seconds each time, and I left 1 hour in between each of the showerings. These showers were on top of the 2 initial mists that I did. I saw in one of the videos in my research that for every inch of depth that you have, you should do 2 waterings each. So that's what I did. It just made sense to me. So If you want to follow that advice, you're welcome to. A full 24 hours have gone by, so I'm gonna start, well, I already started taking off all the stakes and the form. So just gonna tap a little bit here and see if I can. I actually needed to use the pry bar to take out the mold, so that's what I did very carefully. Sides here are crumbling, but that's okay. You can tell that it is it's solid. Perhaps if I should have gone with my smoother a little bit earlier in the process, and we wouldn't have this crumbling. Alright guys, so it's time for an overall impression of this whole project, and I think overall I'm really happy. It was easy, and besides the fact that I didn't know what the watering times were because I could not find it no matter which video I saw of how long in between the waterings you need to water every time. I figured it out. I kind of like used a little bit of logic, and I hope it helps you. This was for my small slab, so you kind of like have to adjust, I think, depending on the area that you're using and the thickness of your slab as well. This is about 1.5 inches, so be mindful of that and just kind of like look at what your slab is looking like. It needs to absorb water and that it goes through and through so that it can be solid. So that's what I did. And then other than that, I think that the finish is a little bit rough. I couldn't control it. I did add some extra finer cement on top, but I really couldn't end up with a smoother finish, and that's okay because the shed is gonna be on top of this. There's no problem. And I think that's about that. There was a hairline crack here at the end, but it's so fine, and there is no problem with that either because it didn't. I tried moving it and stepping on it and it didn't move or crack or anything. So I think it's just there. And then there was a little bit crumbling also there at the end, but I think it's also from the extra cement that we added on top to try to smooth it. So overall, really happy. It's an easy process, other than it being a little bit intimidating in the beginning. It's really easy, and it just takes a little bit of time. So I'm really happy. Let me show you how solid it is and give it a test. In our next video, we are dismantling the tool shed because you have to watch the video to see why. And we're putting it in this very spot, and that's the reason why I made this dry pour slab. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. And also remember, there's super thanks, there's links in the description below if you want to support the channel. And I just thank you so much for watching and liking the video. This is what makes me keep going. So thank you, God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.